when she found the phone with the pictures of her sleeping on it, and she didn't think to give it to the cop as evidence.
You're listening to the MCSFO podcast, where we speak one language, sci-fi. Okay, so welcome back to the MCSFO podcast, part 2 of our live advanced screening episode for The Invisible Man by Leigh Whannell. And this is your host, Amanda Ray. But this is a full-on spoiler review, guys. So if you have not seen the film, go check it out before listening to this podcast. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you have been warned. So without further ado, here are some deeper reactions to the movie The Invisible Man.
Any things that you didn't like about the movie?
Well, it was a little bit unrealistic as far as the technology is concerned, but other than that, it was a pretty good movie.
In your opinion, what do you think is unrealistic about the technology?
How convenient it was that suit didn't glitch when he was knocking James out, and then it magically started glitching again after that. It took us time to figure out when it was working and when it wasn't.
You know, she shot him whenever it started glitching. Is that not right?
Right, but the thing was, it stopped glitching. It was perfect just at the moment that he went into the house, started beating up the girl, whooping him, and then all of a sudden it starts not working again. So I wish that they would have made that a little bit more consistent. But other than that, man, that was pretty tight.
Now let's see how about JB's opinion real quick.
The timing was definitely wasn't a fan of. And as far as Adrian, the Invisible Man and his accomplice, there was a lot of telling and not showing how much of a threat he was, who he was, his relationship to her. We got one scene in the beginning about how bad he was, and it was just her running away. So it was the aftermath of it, and we didn't really get too much of him until the end personally. We got to see the invisible suit. We got to see the brother kind of co-opting what was going on and the suit in action. But as far as Adrian himself, we didn't get enough of that. I needed more.
So for the timing, I felt the timing was fine. I also liked the fact that they didn't give you a lot about him because that story was already told. It's a familiar trope to talk about and to see the actual mad scientist play out. We've seen that so much that I like the fact that they didn't start off with that, and it was told from her perspective as opposed from his perspective.
Yeah, like you said, like they didn't over-explain the technology. It's stuff that it's close enough to what we're aware of exists. It's like a whole active camouflage thing. Yes. Like it's a real thing that doesn't work quite so well because it's a movie, but it is a concept that is being worked on, so it's frightening. And then they didn't have to go into like his like whole psychological like personality disorder, right, because it's something most of us have. If we haven't encountered it in real life, we've seen that those stories play out. So we know. So they just did that. They just had to show it.
Just was curious to see what you thought of it. So I'm going to definitely look up your group though.
Was it ATL Ghostbusters on social media, or AtlantaGhostbusters.com? You can find us. We do parades, conventions, charity work. Just all kinds of stuff. We built the props, we built the uniforms for our own fun, but we try to get some good out of it as well. There's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out in July, so we've already been contacted, so we know we're going to be out there for marketing. We just don't know what it is yet.
Awesome.
So as far as the movie goes for me, I thought it was okay. There were a few parts several parts that were frustrating, like when she had the suit and she had it in the house. Mm-hmm. She grabbed it, and then she left it in the closet.
Well, no, she was trying to hide that from him. You understand that, though, right? Because he could see her. So what else was she going to do with the suit? She was in the closet where he couldn't see her at that moment. Mm-hmm. So she didn't want to get him. She didn't want him to get to that suit. Obviously, he had more than one, clearly. Mm-hmm. But she at least was thought. She might not have known why. I don't think she was even planning to put it on eventually. Mm-hmm. I just think she saw that piece of technology and was like, maybe if he needs to change it to another, let me just take this and put it away. So that was really smart. Every film we've ever watched can still have a certain high level of disbelief in there that you accept, But it's interesting how we're able to accept it for some films and unable to accept it for others. And I myself am included in that. Some films I can accept that disbelief because I love the characters a lot, or I love something about it a lot. And I'm like, oh, that sucked, but I don't care about that because everything else was good. Mm-hmm. But with this one, obviously you feel like there might have been too much disbelief going on. Do you feel like?
When she found the phone with the pictures of her sleeping on it, and she didn't think to give it to the cop as evidence.
That it still wouldn't prove that it was him, though. So even if she took that to the police, that still was, for her, she needed proof that he was stalking her. Other thing is, too, he already tripped her out mentally so bad that you also got to keep in mind, when somebody's messing with you like that, you're crippled in fear. All of your decision making is not going to be perfect because of the simple fact you got some invisible dude chasing you. That's going to send you to the nut house by itself without him forcing you in there. So I think that she needed, and she knew she needed more evidence than that. I can disbelieve times where I'm like, why don't you pick up the gun and shoot him while he's shooting the cops?
Yes.
You saw him then. Okay. Again. I was
or
frustrated.
All the cops
again,
watching their friends.
I was frustrated by that too. But you know what? They did their job as a director, because you know what they did? They got you frustrated. That's their job.
This dude was a whole Avenger. He made no sounds either the entire time.
Like while he's getting hit by people, he's not making noises, he's not grunting, he's not doing anything.
He
got hit with a frying pan.
No, plate.
Yes.
That's not a frying pan.
No,
that's a plate. That's a plate. She never hit him with a frying pan. Trust me. I saw everything she hit him with. She first hit him with some other little plastic thing that she got out of there when she first ran from him. Then when she was laying down getting stuff, that wasn't a frying pan. Those are plates because they broke. Frying pans
washing machine, the thing with the handle.
That wasn't a frying pan. I know what you're talking about. That was not a frying pan. One, it was small and square. That's not what a frying pan is. Nah, that wasn't it. Because it fell on the floor and I saw it. Because I was thinking that was too small to hit him with that. That was a small square, whatever it was, but it wasn't big enough. Either way, most horror movies, which is what this was. It was a sci-fi horror movie. It's always going to have, why didn't you run faster? Why didn't you stop? That's what horror movies do to you. So I can accept that bit of it because not one horror movie have you seen and the girl's not falling.
Actually, she didn't fall in this movie.
No, she just stopped moving.
Or dropped the weapon, didn't keep the knife. Or at one point, she had the knife. She took it out that she didn't keep it. She laid it down when she was go up to the attic with your head first. Those are horror movie classic tropes that it wouldn't be a horror movie if it doesn't have you sitting in your seat like, get up, what did you? That's what horror movies do.
Probably where the disconnect comes from me because I'm not a big horror movie fan.
Gotcha.
Like I don't watch a lot of horror movies at all.
I was raised on horror movies
because
I'm
of stuff
whole
like
B-movie and stuff fan.
Because of stuff like that.
But
because I do get frustrated.
This dude is like choke slamming and like
clotheslining
whole cops and security guards at like
you can do that. Look, you can do that too if you're invisible. How do they know where you at?
But then he let some of them live.
Yeah,
he didn't. He turned around and shot that last one. The only one he let live was the one in the parking lot. And I think a lot of it is he was so beat up himself, he probably just decided to let him live. Mm-hmm. But at
just
that
so he
point,
could get away?
Well, no, I think at that point he probably was hurt so much he didn't even bother. But because I thought he was going to leave the guy in the inside alive until the gun kind of turns as he's walking probably, and he shoots him, while he's walking away.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that he would leave somebody alive at some point. He did too many killing to not leave somebody still alive.
Especially in a place that also has cameras.
Right, exactly. So and again, at that point, he was already shot up. She shot him at least 4 times.
At that point,
no. She didn't shoot him yet.
She stabbed him.
She stabbed him. That's right. She
stabbed him up pretty good.
Yeah, she over and over again. So
I think there was about 5 times.
She kept going in with him, and it was a felt tip pin, but them things are sharp. She was able to get in there pretty good.
I thought she just got meat pretty much and not anything vital.
No, probably. We've never seen a movie like that, especially something like this, where it's taken from the victim's perspective of who they're chasing. It starts off always with how he got crazy, how he started this stuff. We don't need to see that no more.
Yeah,
That's why
he was
I'm
just
glad
an
that they
abusive
did that.
asshole.
Yeah, we knew that. That was obvious. You caught that in the beginning. We don't need that to be played out.
So, I do have a question as far as, like, I know this is one that neither of us can answer. This is just a rhetorical question. She had to know that he was working on this whole thing.
No. Well, two things. Okay, two things I agree with. Two things. On the one hand, she was able to get in his lab.
Yeah, she knew his past
If she
codes
didn't,
and stuff.
unless he didn't know she knew, that she kind of just, kept watching and figured out or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was a little surprising that she had access to it, but you also got to keep in mind, he had her on lockdown so bad, he didn't really care that she knew, or she probably was in there sometimes, but she wouldn't have the knowledge or understanding to know what he was doing. I seriously doubt she was in there while he was working. She may have known how to get in there to clean it, because it ain't like they had no cleaning lady. Ain't like if he had food in there, of course you got to go in there and clean up. So, yeah, she probably had access to it, but I'm pretty sure she didn't know what he was doing. And she clearly, over time, started to, I think, steal and learn things. She plotted and planned that escape for a long time. So I'm pretty sure he didn't give her the codes to shut down the cameras in the alarm system. No. She learned that over time. So I believe that she probably learned over time how to get in that office, because it didn't look like he would have let her in there. And if he never wanted her to escape, she wouldn't have access to those alarm codes. So that tells me that she probably sat and watched and waited and planned that out for like months.
Yeah, very true.
He went all out for her.
He didn't go all out for her. That's not what that was. That's a narcissist or someone like that who's a control freak. It ain't about her.
Oh, I know it's about him. What I mean is
a power thing.
It's definitely a power and control thing, but what I mean is like the lengths. Like, got his brother involved. And
again, that had nothing to do with her. That was a challenge for him. His brother even said no one had ever escaped him before. You got to keep in mind that the same thing with when you talk about control, like she said, he could have had any woman on the planet. This man was clearly filthy rich. Was it about? She was like, well, why me? You could have had anyone that you wanted.
Who was this dude working for?
Himself.
He was on
a tech company.
Yeah.
So he didn't have, he probably was born rich on top of that, But I think that he basically, like he fits the same character as a lot of men out here who keep their wives and their women and their girlfriends on lockdown like that. It ain't about them. These men clearly have all kinds of issues. If he had self-esteem, if he didn't have self-esteem issues, he would go out and get another woman. Why is it that men today actually do stalk and kill their either girlfriend or their wife instead of just go get another woman? Look at all these women out here. Why are you chasing this one? If this one says, I'm going to leave you and take the kids, or if they don't even have no kids, she's like, I'm going to leave you. Why don't he just be like, I deuces, I'm going to go get another one? That ain't what it's about, because that same dude can't get another woman. He's trying to control her.
Yep.
That's what that's about. So it's a very classic case of that same type of man that does come in and wants to control and not let anybody else, you know what I mean? That's what I kind of liked about it, because of the fact that that was very realistic. That was very real. that fear of someone chasing you and that dude not letting you go, I would hate for any female who actually had that happen to them to watch this movie, because that's going to trigger something. That was based on reality. That's based on what's happening right now today in the streets of a lot of dudes locking down these females' heads, and to the point where they don't have any self-esteem anymore. They feel weak. They're so frightened of him that they can't leave. And he just has that control over her. And he don't want nobody else. He just wants the one he can control. Because usually those are simp niggas who can't get no other female. That's why they keep after the same one. Because they're simps. What dude would hold on to the one woman in the entire world, and he don't got no kids by her? He was trying to get her pregnant for... Why do that? And you're a millionaire. It ain't about that. He don't want nobody to reject him or to leave him. It had nothing to do with her. It's all about what was going on in his nut mind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's where that came from. So that's why I think they did a good job with that part.
So faking one's death is a felony, by the way. That was
a
big
cold
house.
But it was cold and scary because imagine being in a big, beautiful, rich house with a crazy
They could hold a state like that. It was a whole estate.
It was, but that was something. There was no plant. There was no warmth about the house.
Yeah, there was no
that
like plants,
cold,
no nothing.
Yeah, it was just white walls, very square furniture. It looked like a lab, almost an elaborate lab throughout the rest of the place.
So let me ask you both though this: how do you feel about the ending where it seems like she got the juice now?
Yeah, I knew she was going to get him. We never knew how. I love the fact that she did, think outside. I knew she was going to at some point get some guts and think outside the box and how to get him. Mm-hmm. I do like the way it was done because I was like, okay, he's not going to confess. She's going to do something. But I just wasn't sure exactly what, because at this point, she had already tried so many things. She felt helpless. I felt helpless for her. To be honest, if I was in that situation, I just would have like, well, you ain't getting me and the baby. Stab. And I would have been like, okay, stab herself in the stomach, and would have been. I've run out of ideas for her as to what she should do. So for me, when I saw her, him at the table, I loved that last bit. That's when I thought, yeah, the movie is long, but it was still so good because we didn't get to see him as much. We didn't get to see him talk or him conversate with her. We didn't get to see that craziness in him, and you didn't have to do much, and you clearly saw it. Mm-hmm. And him sitting at the table with her, I just thought all that was beautiful, and I think it was beautifully done for her to go in there and get the suit and have it on camera, because no one's going to believe her at this point.
This concludes our show for today, but if this is your first time visiting, then welcome aboard. The Multicultural Sci-Fi Organization, or MCSFO for short, markets, promotes, discusses, and educates in the medium of science fiction and technology with a unique focus from an international perspective. We promote diversity and inclusion in the sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book genres. We would love to hear what you guys think about today's topic, or if you just want to chime in, you can post your comments on our Facebook page at facebook.com/multiculturalsci-fi.org, or tweet us at twitter.com/MCSFO, or check out our new YouTube page. And please remember to follow and share this podcast on your social media pages. But I'll leave you guys with this one excerpt from our favorite line in the movie After Earth. Danger is real, but fear is a choice. Until next time, take care. I'm a solar gypsy.